Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Subbies Deli and Grill All-Star Race here from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is the final event of the first season for the Crazy Dog T-Shirts Xfinity Series. My name is Jacob Fescannon here on behalf of Team Goon Squad, proud to bring you live flag-to-flag coverage here. Drivers are making their way onto the race grid. We are here at the newly configured Atlanta Motor Speedway. This features the repave, the increased banking, and no out of bounds tonight. We've got a field of 15 drivers ready to battle for a first place all or nothing, paying $40 cash. These drivers are going to be going 50 laps around Atlanta tonight. We're going to get you our starting grid here as drivers are all making their way onto the pit lane. Starting off tonight on the pole is going to be the number 02 of Craig Janzik. Outside of him is going to be the 77 of Brian Lorenzo. James Harris finds himself starting in third. Harley Belletta fourth. Dan Oliver fifth. Brock Whitehead sixth. Ross Kilgore seventh. Charles Whitehead eighth. William Mann ninth. William Mann Jr. 10th. Tyler Meeks 11th. Chris Sawyer in 12th. Rounding out the back of the field going to be the number 41 of Derek Hilker. 16 of Robert Wynn starts 14th, and Joe Gregory in the 15 is your last qualifier. We're going to get you ready to go here tonight. Drivers are going to be working their way around behind the pace car. If we get a caution, we are going to grab some commercial breaks in, but get you ready to go as drivers enter turn number 3. Again, 50 laps. It's going to be a little bit different than normal. Different rule set tonight than what you used to seeing for all of the regular season races. Again, with the All-Star race, we've got a little bit more of a free-for-all type format. Drivers are going to be able to work their way underneath that yellow or white and red line. There is no really out of bounds. If it's paved, they're legal to do it. We'll see how everything works out. They'll work their way onto the green flag. Janzik going to lead him to the inside. James Harris quickly behind him. We're going to have some signs. Speedway racing, as it generally tends to be wide open with a little bit of lifting into the corners. The pack racing is going to be your dominant factor here tonight. See if it causes chaos like we've seen at Daytona and Talladega, if these drivers are able to sort it out. Just as I say that, though, you see 7 of Russ Kilgore, actually I believe it was the 81 of Harley Belletta getting in the outside wall, so he's fallen back to 12th. Tightens up the pack up front. Janzik going to run on the inside. James Harris being pushed by Brian Lorenzo on the outside line as they work their way into turn number 2. Dan Oliver in the 83 going to try to tighten up to the inside of Craig Janzik. We've also got Russ Kilgore in the 7 machine lined up on the outside. Going to work their way back into turn number 3. James Harris takes the lead over. See him leading that pack as they work their way out of turn number 4. Dan Oliver working the inside line. Drivers all fanning out on the front stretch. We're going to go 3 wide as Harris is going to work the bottom. Janzik in the middle. Brian Lorenzo on the outside. Russ Kilgore, as well as the 35 of Tyler Meeks, going to line up on the outside. Dan Oliver still pushing James Harris in the inside. Oh, we got one driver spinning. Great save. Great save there. Tyler Meeks gets shuffled out and he goes to the back. Harris going to battle with Lorenzo. Janzik still stuck in that middle with no help. Oliver lines up behind Harris. A little bit of contact there between Janzik and Harris doesn't seem to upset either driver. Lorenzo trying to work the lead on the high side as he gets a push from Russ Kilgore. They're going in the middle of 1 and 2. Oliver still lined up on the bottom. Kilgore on the outside. You also have 29 of William Mann Jr. lined up there. He's trying to get to the drivers. This all just on lap number 4. Plan is to have a break halfway through, regroup everybody. It's like Harris again working that inside line. Janzik gets himself back to the lead as he jumps to the outside, gets pushed by Brian Lorenzo. They're going to run on the high side. We've got 4 lined up on the outside. Janzik, Lorenzo, Mann, and William Mann Sr. Inside, you've got Harris, Oliver, Kilgore, and Whitehead back up. We've got 9 drivers within about... they're all about half a second apart. So we've got tight pack racing here. Harris jumps to the outside. Lorenzo jumps to the bottom. Harris going to try to push Lorenzo by Craig Janzik. And this is a winner-take-all, $40 US cash to the race winner of tonight's event. All fun, no points, leaving everything out on the line as a way to close out this first season. Just working their way around. Lorenzo back to the lead. Harris behind him. 83 of Dan Oliver lined up there third on the inside row, along with Russ Kilgore behind him. Janzik, Mann Jr., as well as William Mann Sr. on the outside. Looks like William Mann's going to drop down to the inside line behind the 31 of Brock Whitehead. Whitehead, his first time here with the group. Try to make a name for himself here in the All-Star race. Maybe sneak in and take that $40 out from the season regular. Dan Oliver gets shuffled out on the high side. He's going to fall back. Russ Kilgore going to try to fill in the slot. Craig Janzik going to go diving down to the inside slots in behind Charles Whitehead. Looks like the inside lane's forming up a little bit more than the outside lane. Dan Oliver kind of getting strung out. He's going to start falling through the field unless somebody else can come up and help him. See Janzik dropping back down to the bottom, so that leaves Kilgore. Oliver dives down to the bottom. Now Kilgore tries to find his way in. 31 of Brock Whitehead jumps up to the outside line. Kilgore's going to slot in behind him as they work their way off at turn number 4. Whitehead going to try to side draft off of Craig Janzik as they go across the start-finish line. Harris now jumps out in front of Whitehead. He's going to go side by side with Craig Janzik and Brian Lorenzo back into turn number 1. Lorenzo working both lanes, trying to prevent the line from forming and getting momentum on his outside, as well as trying to keep Craig Janzik behind him. This all on lap number 9. We're still very early on. 42 laps to go in tonight's event. Harris working the outside line. He's got Brock Whitehead lined up right behind him, trying to give him some assistance. Janzik now going to feed all the way to the extreme inside, puts Brian Lorenzo in the middle. Harris, Janzik worked by him. He's now 3 wide, just on the inside of Brock Whitehead, going to slot behind Craig Janzik, just in front of William Mann Jr. So we got 2 by 2 for the front 4 spots. Mann Jr. works back to the bottom line just in front of Dan Oliver. Mann Sr. trying to work that outside line. Gets a little bit of a shove, gets into the wall, gets into the 7 of Russ Kilgore. He's going to fall back through the field. Has some right side damage to that car, falls back all the way. It's going to put us back to the front as Craig Janzik, again, going to work the inside line back into turn number 1. Harris on the outside, Brian Lorenzo in the middle. William Mann Jr. looks like he's going to try to stay right behind Brian Lorenzo. Now shifts down to the bottom line behind Brock Whitehead. Whitehead went from the high side all the way down to the low side. Dan Oliver, Chris Sawyer also lined up on that inside row. Janzik doing a great job working that inside line just ahead of Brock Whitehead. Throws a block there to stop Whitehead. Whitehead cuts up to the outside of him, slots up in front of Brian Lorenzo. And James Harris is going to try to side draft off of him as they go back into turn number 1. Lorenzo going to force it all the way to the outside, try to get a run. We'll see if Harris goes up to give him a push off of turn number 2. Are we going to go 3 wide down the backstretch? We are going to go 3 wide down the backstretch for the lead. Harris shoving Brian Lorenzo to the lead. See if Lorenzo sticks with Harris or if he cuts down. Russ Kilgore almost gets into the outside retaining wall through turn number 4. Brock Whitehead going to stick again behind Craig Janzik, trying to find a way around him. William Mann Jr. also following them down low. As they work the paper back into turn number 1. Lorenzo Harris lined up on the outside. Chris Sawyer's also jumped up on the outside. Front 11 cars all within 11 seconds. Tyler Meekster, Whitehead and Meekster too that are off of this pack. Oh, James Harris gets pushed to the outside. Lorenzo wrecks. Dan Oliver involved. Brockhead involved. Brock Whitehead involved. Big wreck here. That's going to bring out our first caution tonight here on lap number 14. Tough break for a lot of drivers. Tough break. Try to get a replay of that one, see what happened for you as the field works its way back out. I think that started with James Harris. Let's take a look and see what we can find from that. to see James Harris working behind Brian Lorenzo. Oh, Brock Whitehead just slides up the track. Maybe a little bit of prediction code there. Not actual contact. But Brock Whitehead definitely got into the 77. Lorenzo sent James Harris up. He gets into Chris Sawyer. Mann Jr. gets into it. Dan Oliver gets a little bit. You also got the 41 of Derek Hilker getting involved. Chris Sawyer there. Russ Kilgore involved in that. A lot of drivers. Joe Gregory involved in that. The 57 of William Mann Sr. involved in that. Tough break to start early on tonight's event. There's Man Senior coming flying in, nowhere to go. That brings out our first caution tonight. So all these drivers pace behind pace car. We're gonna grab a quick commercial break. Back here with you. Field's getting ready to go back green. Jancic gonna be leading off. He's on the outside. William Mann Jr. finds his way up in second with that damage. 15 of Joe Gregory gonna be fourth. Harley Valletta third. 41 of Derek Hilker to be fifth. William Mann Sr. in sixth once we get the green flag. We'll be going back to green on lap number 17. We will have 34 laps to go in tonight's event. Let's see what the drivers all are ready to do here. Jancic gonna get ready to pull back underway, and we do go green. He quickly dives to the bottom, slots in front of William Mann Jr., leaves Joe Gregory hanging on the outside line. Tough break from him. Joe Gregory gonna try to get the run though. Let's see who's gonna get ready to go. William Mann Jr. sliding just in front of the 81 of Harley Valletta. It looks like Russ Kilgore pulls down to the inside line, drops back. Harley Valletta works the inside line. William Mann Jr. jumps up to the high side. He's going to try to get the side draft. Not quite able to close up to Barletta. Barletta, Jancic pulling away. They've got about 2 tenths ahead of William Mann Jr. And Jr. lined up in front of Gregory, Weeks, and James Harris on the outside. Inside, you've got 41 of Hilker, William Mann Sr. Now James Harris drops down to the bottom. Got 2 by 2. 4 or 5 rows deep from fourth on back. Front three of all single filed out. Oh, Hilker throws a big move right in front of James Harris, tries to block them. It's going to cause the pack to stack up some as drivers had to fan out for that move. Working lap 19 here, 32 laps to go. Harris trying to work behind Derek Hilker. Hilger also a newcomer this week, running his name into the mix. Opens the door, lets Brock Whitehead work the inside line. Harris jumps down behind Whitehead. Whitehead with a big run to the inside. He's going to suck all the way up to the back bumper of Janzik. Puts himself in second just ahead of Harley Valletta. James Harris also trying to work that inside line. You can see how powerful that draft is as he sucks up on the front stretch. He now pushes behind Whitehead on the outside line. Whitehead, Harris going to try to go on the outside of Craig Janzik back through corner. See Brian Lorenzo, Tyler Meeks lined up on the inside there behind Janzik. Also got the 41 of Derek Hilker on the inside, along with 57 William Mann Sr. on the inside. Outside, lagging behind Harris is Harley Valletta. Looks like William Mann Jr. back there on the back end of that inside row as well. Field fans all the way down to the bottom. Lorenzo tries to put himself in the middle. Almost gets a little bit of contact out of Tyler Meeks, and they somehow keep it going straight, though we still stay under green. Looks like Hilker's falling back as he had to check up there. The contact between Meeks and Lorenzo. Lorenzo jumps to the outside line. Whitehead now leading in front of Janzik. He's controlling the inside line as they go back into turn number 3. Just working their way around. Harris going to dive to the bottom, tries to go to the inside of Janzik. Janzik's going to be in the middle. Work their way by here as they work in the middle of turn 1 and 2. Brock Whitehead gets shuffled all the way to the outside. Harris getting a big push by Tyler Meeks. Meeks might have possibly made some right side contact with Craig Janzik. Janzik now on the high side as they go back into turn number 3. Cuts in just in front of Brock Whitehead, right behind Brian Lorenzo. Harris going to lead him off at turn number 4, back onto the front stretch. Still got intense racing as your top 14 all are within a second and a half of each other. Chris Sawyer the only one away from this main pack. We're getting ready to approach the halfway mark. See if they'll still throw the stage break there in the middle of the race, or if they're going to allow that competition to be that break. Lorenzo works the outside line. Craig Janzik pulls to the bottom. Got Lorenzo, Whitehead lined up on the outside. Janzik, Harris on the inside line. Whitehead cuts all the way down to the bottom. He's going all the way almost to the grass. He tries to get a run on the inside. We're going to go almost 4 wide as we work our way into turn 1. Again, if it's paved, it's in fair play. No out of bounds tonight. Brock Whitehead making that move work to the extreme. He lines up just behind James Harris on the inside row. Tyler Meeks working just in front of Craig Janzik on the outside. Brian Lorenzo trying to push his way through the middle. Janzik jumps behind Lorenzo in the middle line. They're going to try to get a run on the outside of Whitehead. Harris slots in front of Whitehead as the race lead. Whitehead going to dive all the way down the bottom, and we get a caution. That's going to be our stage break on lap number 25. Drivers racing hard to that halfway point. Great racing by everybody tonight. If you're here tuned in for the first time, we welcome you. This is a bit of a free fall, a little bit of a different format than a typical regular season race, but still the same crowd. We still seen some very respectful racing. Just because it's a free-for-all does not mean drivers have been just driving like absolute idiots, turning it into a demo derby. We still see some very great, respectful pack racing. Got a couple newcomers out here as well. Interested to see how they do. Looks like Harris elects to stay out. Be interested to see. He was in under the first caution. Looks like almost the entire field besides him all coming into pits, so I believe Harris is the only one out there. It's a very lonely spot to be. Chris Sawyer going to get his lap back. The lucky dog slapped just a couple laps before that caution came out, so fortunate timing for him. Still put all 15 cars on the lead lap in tonight's event. See how the field gets sorted as they come out of pit road. Again, we want to thank Subbies for coming on as the title sponsor of tonight's race, as well as putting up the money for the cash purse. Glad to have them on board. I also want to send a shout out to and a thank you to Crazy Dog T-shirts for sponsoring the regular season. It's great to have them on board for the first time as well. I want to send a shout out to all the fans that are out there that tuned in for all the regular season races, as well as are tuned in tonight for the All-Star race. Without you guys and your support, could not have done it. Drivers loved seeing all the support every week in the chat. For to leave us a message, let us know who you're rooting for, what you want to see out of tonight's event. Be looking forward to it. Drivers all working their way around. We get the one to go, so we're going to get double filed back up, get ready to go back under green flag conditions. We'll have 23 laps to go once we get the green again. Again, James Harris electing to stay out. Brian Lorenzo comes out second. Brock Whitehead third. Craig Janzik fourth. Tyler Meeks fifth. William Mann Jr. gonna be sixth. Derek Hilker seventh. Harley Valletta eighth. Joe Gregory ninth. Russ Kilgore 10th. Dan Oliver 11th. William Mann Sr. 12th. Robert Wynn 13th. Charles Whitehead 14th. And last but not least, going to be the 25 of Chris Sawyer. Everybody on the lead lap, so everybody still with a fighting shot to try to win that $40 tonight. A little bit of a smaller field than what we had seen for some of the regular season races, but it's a good core group of drivers that were out every week. Should bring in a lot of fun tonight. We've already seen some pretty intense 3, almost 4 wide battles tonight that have been great racing. Again, this newly reconfigured Atlanta Motor Speedway allows for more of a super speedway pack style racing, and that does not hold back any excitement here. Driver's going to be getting ready to go green. James Harris going to lead him to the green. We'll see if those older tires hurt him at all. We are back under green flag. Harris back, working the inside line down the front stretch. Brian Lorenzo getting a push from Craig Janzik on the outside. Man Jr. thought about stepping out to the extreme outside line for a moment, steps back in line. Comfortably, these drivers can possibly make 3 wide, although coming out of the corners, it gets pretty tight to do that, so not a ton of moments. You can see 3 wide the entire way around. Track's just not quite wide enough. Corner radiuses are a bit too tight compared to a Daytona or a Talladega. James Harris falls back as Brian Lorenzo drops down from the outside line in front of Harris. He's going to lead him around as they've got 22 to go now. Craig Janzik working the outside line, getting a push from William Mann Jr. and Harley Valletta. Inside line led by Lorenzo, followed by Harris and Whitehead. Tyler Meeks also back there on the inside line. We go 2 by 2 for about 4 rows deep. Almost 5 as Dan Oliver's trying to close back up, get involved in this battle for the front. Oh, you see James Harris blinking momentarily, disappearing, reappearing as his connection tries to restore at the iRacing server. Seems like it's all good now. He's going to dive to the bottom, has Brock Whitehead pushing him 3 wide again as we go back into turn number 1. Brian Lorenzo keeps getting stuck in the middle, unfortunately. He's going to slot down in the hole behind Harris just in front of Whitehead. Go back to 2 by 2. Janzik going to try to side draft off of James Harris. Oh, getting a big shove from William Mann Jr. on the outside, getting him a little wiggly there on the backstretch. Russ Kilgore pushes up the track, gets into the outside wall again in the middle of 3 and 4. Seen him have that happen a couple times tonight. 20 to go now. Janzik pushing wide, trying to side draft off of Harris as they work their way back into turn number 1. And Jr. trying to stick to Janzik's bumper, see if he can push him to the lead. Brian Lorenzo trying to do the same thing. You see Brock Whitehead dropping down to the bottom. Looks like he's going to slot behind Tyler Meeks. Harley Valletta going to try to suck up on the outside to the back bumper of William Mann Jr. It's about 3 car lengths back, just not quite able to get there yet. But we've seen some big runs on the straightaways off the corners. William Mann Jr. going to take a quick look to the outside of Craig Janzik. Thinks better of it. Pulls back behind him. Harley Valletta was ready to go to the outside. He falls in line. He's right there. Tyler Meeks trying to suck up to the back bumper of Brian Lorenzo. James Harris leading for the moment as they work their way down the backstretch. Got a pack of 10 cars here in the front. Chris Sawyer, the rest of the drivers have fallen back. Charles Whitehead, your last driver in this lead pack. Harris, oh, big contact between Janzik and Lorenzo. They both keep it straight. Janzik still leading that outside line in front of William Mann Jr. Harris still in front of Brian Lorenzo and Tyler Meeks on the inside. 18 laps to go as they work their way out of turn number 2. Down the back stretch, Janzik getting a good run this time with help from William Mann Jr. He's going to try to take the lead away from James Harris, not quite able to clear him. They're going to run door to door. Harris with a little bit of momentum there off at turn number 4. Still maintain 2 lines here as we go down the front stretch. Lorenzo thinks about ducking low for a minute on James Harris, comes back up. Those two both clear. Craig Janzik, Tyler Meeks also trying to clear himself with Craig Janzik. Russ Kilgore sloting him on the inside. Brock Whitehead on the inside as well as the 83 of Dan Oliver. Excuse me, that's the 51 of Charles Whitehead back there. Harris leads them though off at turn number 4 down the front stretch. Lorenzo thinks about jumping up to the outside in front of Craig Janzik. Tyler Meeks almost looks to the inside of James Harris. They go back into turn number 1. Meeks gives a little bit of a bump to James Harris, kind of shuffles him up the track out of turn number 2, so he's going to go the inside as they go back into turn number 3. That also allows Lorenzo and Janzik to get a run. Lorenzo going to slot in front of Meeks. Puts Janzik on the outside, still battling second. Meeks takes a big dive, a big hard turn left down the front stretch. We're going to go 3 wide again. Meeks with a little bit of a slider in front of Brian Lorenzo, still occupies that inside line, trying to grab the lead. Russ Kilgore launches himself up to second. First time we've seen him up inside the top 5 here. Harley Valletta lined up on the inside. Brock Whitehead there, 4th in line on the inside. Got 6 cars lined up on the inside, 4 lined up on the outside. Tyler Meeks to the lead. Oh, big wreck there between James Harris, Brock Whitehead. They're going sliding through the infield. Looks like Whitehead spinning around through the infield. Not too much body damage. Able to keep it going straight. James Harris gets himself rolling as well. I believe Charles Whitehead sustains the heaviest damage out of that. You see some heavy front end damage missing his bumper there. Tough break. 3rd caution of tonight. Trying to see if we can grab a replay of what happened there to bring out that yellow flag. Take a look at this from Brock Whitehead's perspective. Trying to see Brock Whitehead working his way. This is through the middle of turn 3 and 4. I want to see if he takes a dive low on the front stretch. He's getting the run behind the 81 of Harley Valletta. Oh, looks like James Harris gets into the back bumper of Brian Lorenzo. That checks him up. Craig Janzik gets into the back bumper of Harris, sends Harris into Harley Valletta. Harris in turn comes down the track into Brock Whitehead, sends them spinning around in the infield. Let's see where Charles Whitehead gets involved in this. Oh, looks like Lorenzo and Harley Valletta go up to the outside retaining wall, and Charles Whitehead with nowhere to go. Lorenzo actually was going to be pretty clean until Harley Valletta comes across. Those 2 cars are going to get connected together. You see the big damage to Harley Valletta. Looks like Whitehead also gets connected with Lorenzo. Bit of the simulator trying to figure out exactly where these drivers are at and what cars are making contact with who. So tough break for the middle of the pack. They were to bring out our 3rd caution. And working lap number 38. It's going to sort some favorites to the back. Again, this being very similar to a super speedway. The reason why these drivers can't recover. Not quite sure what detour Tyler Meeks was taking there. I think the scenic route through the road course seemed like a pretty good option for Tyler Meeks there under caution. Let's see if anybody elects to come into pits that was not involved in that wreck. Looks like everybody that was in the pits either involved in it or was in the back of the pack checking up for it. Got about the back half of your field all coming in. 1st through 7th all staying out on track here as we work our third caution. We're on lap number 39, just 12 laps to go in tonight's event. Thanks for working that inside line. We'll get your field reset here. Drivers are going to be getting double filed up, ready to go. Tyler Meek's going to restart as your race leader. Russ Kilgore is going to be second. Craig Janzik third. William Mann Jr. fourth. Dan Oliver fifth. We got Derek Hilker in sixth. Joe Gregory seventh. James Harris eighth. Harley Belletta ninth. Robert Wynn's going to be your 10th place runner once we go green again. Not really 100% sure where Tyler Meeks is going. It's the second time we've seen him do that. As your race leader, I'm honestly not 100% sure what he's doing behind the vehicle, but it is an all-star race. Anything goes. Drivers out here to have some fun. Blame him for that. Gonna get ready to go green. He slots back up on the inside line in front of Craig Janzik. Back onto the oval. See if he continues keeping it that way. We are back under the green here. 11 laps to go. Meeks jumps out to an early lead. Outside line with Russ Kilgore just does not go. Craig Janzik also gets a big run. Let's see what that's going to look like. Kilgore is just in front of William Mann Jr. William Mann Jr. going to start to look to the outside as they work their way off of turn number 2. Everybody getting a big run down the backstretch. You see Janzik kind of positioning himself in the middle just behind Tyler Meeks, but he's going to slot back to the inside line as we go back into turn number 3. Kilgore pushes up the track a little bit. Behind them, you've got side-by-side between Dan Oliver, William Mann Jr. They're going to work their way through the track. Everybody on the front stretch closes back up to Tyler Meeks. Joe Gregory gets sent hard. Harley Belletta is going to be involved in that one. Those two go spinning around. Harley Belletta sliding hard on the inside of the track through the grass up against the inside retaining wall. Joe Gregory also involved in that one. Brings out our 4th caution here. I have to see if Joe Gregory had a little bit of help or if he just misjudged where his vehicle was at in relation to Harley Belletta and cut down. We saw him come across the right side of Harley Belletta, go spinning across there. Brings out our 4th caution as we are working lap number 41. It's going to work their way around to get caught back up to the pace car. Everybody a moment to get settled up, and we'll see if we can try to grab you a replay of what happened to bring out this 4th caution. Wasn't sure if we were going to see too many cautions like this or if drivers are going to be able to keep it clean. Take a look at this from Joe Gregory's standpoint. So you're going to see Joe Gregory working his way up, pushing hard. Looks like he's going to bounce off the 41 of Derek Hilker, and that sends him down, flying across the track. Harley Belletta with nowhere to go. Just comes flying down, collects Harley Belletta. Those two go spinning on the inside of the course. I think that might have been a bit of a tight condition. Maybe he tried to make a cut a little bit tighter than what his vehicle was going to allow him to do. Just not enough grip in the tires, and he pushes his way up. Nothing that Derek Hilker did wrong there, as Joe Gregory just simply bounced off the left side door of Hilker, and it slingshotted him down back across the track into Harley Belletta. Tough break for Harley Belletta. Again, he had nowhere to go and was positioned fine on the inside. Brings out our 4th caution. This allows Meeks to continue holding on to the race lead. You'll expect to hit the green next time by, or get the 1 to go next time by, excuse me. Should leave us with a 6-lap dash. to the green, or the checkered flag. All 15 drivers still on the lead lap. Some people have been involved in some incidents here tonight, but seen a lot of drivers come from the front, go to the back, come back up to the front. Typical super speedway fashion. We do get the lights out on the pace cars, so we're going to be going green the next time by. Meeks again will be your race leader. Janzik in second. Russ Kilgore third. Dan Oliver fourth. Going to have William Mann Jr. in fifth. Derek Hoker sixth. James Harris seventh. Robert Wynn is up to eighth. William Mann Sr. ninth. And Brock Whitehead is going to be your 10th place runner once we go green. Continuing to work that inside line. A little bit of an extreme inside line when we say that. Let's see when Craig Janzik able to go. Shout out to our chat, our astute audience, noticing that alternate low line, road courses under cautions, ovals during green flags. That's the way Tyler Meeks wants to run this race tonight. I think he's just proven how much extra fuel he's got left in the tank and is good to go. We're going to get ready to go green flag racing here. We're going to have just 6 laps to go to settle the score tonight. Back under green. Meeks again trying to get the jump. Janzik not letting him get as far away. Both lines get a much better restart this time. We're going to go 2 wide back into turn number 1. Meeks with about a 2-car length advantage. Janzik running the outside line just in front of Dan Oliver. Russ Kilgore up to second right now. He's got William Mann Jr. trying to get a run off of him as they go down the backstretch. Oh, Kilgore throws a big block, gets lifted up into the air, somehow keeps it going. That allows James Harris to sneak by him. He's going to try to work the outside. We've also got 3 wide Janzik, both William Mann drivers there. Janzik kind of gets shuffled out of that, somehow keeps his car going straight. He falls back to 6th now as Dan Oliver is going to work by on the outside. James Harris back to the lead. Tyler Meeks lined up on the inside. William Mann Sr. running that outside line, slots up just in front of William Mann Jr. Jr. trying to look at the third line as they work their way off at turn number 2. Janzik sorts his way back out. He's got Dan Oliver just in front of him. Doesn't think he trusts him with that connection issue, though. Jumps to the outside line and thinks better of it. Goes back to the inside line. Got Brian Lorenzo in the 77 trying to get a big run on the outside line. Suck up to William Mann Jr. You also got, Janzik throws it wide onto the inside. Meeks also trying to look there. We're going to go 3 wide again. So we're back into turn number 1. Janzik sorts himself back up to 30. He's going to go side by side with Dan Oliver. Tyler Meeks gets turned across the nose of Oliver. We got a big wreck. Are we going to bring on a caution? There it is. Big wreck for Tyler Meeks as he got spun off the nose of Dan Oliver. Janzik tried to avoid it as much as he could, but unfortunately nowhere to go. Looks like you've also got Charles Whitehead involved in that. Looks like Derek Hilker, big rear end damage. That car's crab walking there as you see him working down the apron. Rear end got shifted pretty bad to the left hand side. Throws that car very out of skew. Tyler Meeks with some front end damage. Brian Lorenzo, I believe. Fortunately, some damage as well out of that. Charles Whitehead, again, involved in another wreck. So we'll see if we can grab a replay, sort out everything that happened. Bring out that caution. We should be going green-white checker here. It's just when you thought 50 laps was going to take all it would take to finish this off, we're going to go even further. Looks like a couple drivers going to elect to come to pit road. See if we can grab a replay of what happened there. Tough break for Tyler Meeks. Let's take a look at what happened. So you're going to see Meeks. Let's back this up just a little bit so we can see him getting spun off the nose of Dan Oliver. So that's what started this. So we're going to work our way. Meeks slots up in front of Oliver, trying to take advantage of the run. Looks like that's where Oliver, maybe not quite clear of him, and Oliver just spins him. See him spinning right in front of Janzik. Janzik trying to jump on the brakes, hold it off. Janzik gets a little loose. That slides him up into Derek Hilker. Hilker, unfortunately, nowhere to go. Janzik spins down, gets Brock Whitehead. Hilker collects Robert Wynn, Brian Lorenzo, Chris Sawyer, Charles Whitehead, all unfortunately piling into that one as the track just gets clogged up. Nowhere to go for anybody. Tough break there. Like I said, hard to say if Dan Oliver just continued with the push, sent Meeks around, or if Meeks tried to clear a gap that maybe he was not quite clear of. Honestly, with so few laps to go, you can almost call it a racing incident as you throw everything out the window. These drivers, especially when it is a winner-take-all race, they're going to do whatever they can to try to position themselves in the front by that end. So we're going to be working our way around. Drivers ready for a green-white checker finish. Again, for anybody that's new here, green-white checker is where the drivers will get the green flag to start the race. And if they can make it around without a caution flag coming out before they complete that first lap, we'll get the white flag. And then at that point, we'll complete either one more lap or we will end if a caution flag does come out. If at any point during that initial green flag lap we get a caution flag, we'll attempt it again. We're going to be going into extra laps. See how this sorts itself out tonight. James Harris going to be your race leader when we restart. William Mann Jr. going to be second. Russ Kilgore third. Joe Gregory fourth. Robert Wynn in fifth. We have Brock Whitehead sixth. Garjanzik seventh. William Mann Sr. eighth. Dan Oliver ninth. And Tyler Meeks 10th. I'm not quite sure who I want to give the advantage to. We know Harris should be able to get a decent start. Hopefully gap the field a little bit. But in 2 laps, it's very easy for the rest of the field to try to get a run and close back on him. And if this holds true to typical super speedway fashion, you don't typically want to be the driver leading with 1 to go. You want to be somewhere in second or third. Give yourself a shot to make that last corner pass where you can make the pass and not leave your competitors enough time to try to complete a pass back around you. So hard to say if I give the advantage to Russ Kilgore on the inside, maybe Joe Gregory on the outside. We could see a surprise driver come even further back, and that's assuming we make it back to the checkered flag. We're back under green, 2 laps to settle this. James Harris with a big run. He's going to try to stay in front of Russ Kilgore. They both are going to clear William Mann Jr. Mann Jr. going to try to slot just in front of Brock Whitehead. He makes a big launch, has himself third inside line. Russ Kilgore going to slide up in front of William Mann Jr. They jump to the outside line, so it's going to be Harris, Whitehead, Wynn, Janzik, Meeks on the inside. Janzik jumps to the outside. Russ Kilgore getting a big push from William Mann Jr. They're going to try to go door to door with James Harris. Harris has about a half car length advantage as they work off of turn number 4. We're going to see the white flag this time by. This lap is going to end it. We're either going to go checker or we're going to go caution. Harris getting pushed from Brock Whitehead. We're going 3 wide. So Russ Kilgore gets shoved up the track off the right rear of Whitehead. Harris with about a half car length advantage over Whitehead. Oh, we've got contact on the backstretch. 4 wide. William Mann Jr. bouncing all over the place. Sends Dan Oliver spinning hard off the inside wall. Tyler Meeks, we're going to get a spin there. We still stay green. Harris just in front of Whitehead. Robert Wynn trying to insert himself. We'll see if Whitehead can get the run on the outside. Looks like James Harris is going to win it. Brock Whitehead going to finish second. Robert Wynn third. Hard wreck, though, on the backstretch with multiple drivers. So grab you a replay of what happened there. Great finish, though, to tonight's event. Trying to grab a look at what transpired on the backstretch there as we were on the white flag lap. It's a tough break for Dan Oliver, it looked like. Let me go back and take a look at Dan Oliver. worked his way around the back. So you're going to see 3 wide up ahead. I believe Russ Kilgore. So Tyler Meeks gets into the outside wall. This is all coming off of turn number 2. Robert Wynn kind of pushes up the tracks, gets into Russ Kilgore, sends him into the 57 of William Mann Sr. And they're all going to run 4 wide on a third of the racing surface. That sends Mann Sr. hard down into Dan Oliver. Sends Dan Oliver hard down inside. It's going to slam off the inside retaining wall. He's going to go spinning around, pirouetting. All 4 tires off the ground, spinning around there as they work their way back into turn number 3. That sent him around, and then we had a separate crash that involved Kranjancic. So we'll take a look at that one as well. This was just ahead of the wreck. Kilgore. So we're going to see Craig Janzik here. He gets into Russ Kilgore. They're going to go spinning on the outside. Looks like they both get into the wall. Oh, Tyler Meeks getting turned by Derek Hilker behind. Joe Gregory going to get involved in that. He just comes up the track, drills Craig Janzik, who gets into the left side of Russ Kilgore. Also is going to collect Chris Sawyer, Harley, Boletta able to roll through that, but we've got 5 cars spinning here. That's Tyler Meeks at 35, Derek Hilker the 41, 15 of Joe Gregory, 7 of Russ Kilgore, the 0-2 of Craig Janzik. So tough break there to end the race for all those drivers. Let's see if we got our drivers all here. Looks like everybody's found their way into the waiting room. Grab our 3rd place finisher, driver the number 16, Robert Wynn. Got with me our 3rd place finisher tonight, driver the number 16 Ford Mustang, Robert Wynn. Robert, I think this is probably your best finish of the season, and looked like you were doing pretty good working your way up through the field. What was your key to success tonight to make it through Atlanta?
To be honest with you, I was just waiting on everybody else to crash out.
Well, we certainly saw a few more cautions and wrecks than maybe what some people might have been expecting. Seemed like drivers were running pretty aggressive, but being respectful at time. What do you think maybe brought out some of those cautions there? Just a little over aggression, or maybe drivers just not quite sure of where they were in relation to their fellow competitors?
It's an all-star race, man. You got to go for it.
Absolutely. We saw that one caution come out where most of the field came into pit road. Do you feel like you needed to do one stop, maybe get some fresh tires and full fuel, or do you think you were good to go and maybe could have stayed out and tried to stay in the front of the track position, avoid some of those wrecks?
I pretty much stuck to my stay at the rear till the halfway and put some tires on it, and try to the last 10 work my way up through it.
Well, certainly a great job there bringing it home in 3rd place. Anybody you want to send a shout out to or a thank you to before we let you go celebrate that 3rd place finish tonight?
Yeah, I like to thank Subsies for putting this on.
Well, congratulations on a great event, great season as well. We look forward to seeing you back in future seasons as well.
Oh yeah, thanks.
That was your 3rd place finisher, driver number 16, Ford Mustang, Robert Wynn. We're going to grab our 2nd place finisher, newcomer, driver number 31, Brock Whitehead. Got with me our 3rd place finisher, driver number 31. It's Brock Whitehead. Brock, this was your first race with the group. What were your thoughts on it here as we come out of Atlanta Motor Speedway for the All-Star race?
Yeah, it was a blast. I've raced with a bunch of these guys in the Fast and Fun Cup Series. I haven't done the race with them in a while, and I figured I'd hop in tonight just to do something. But yeah, it was overall a pretty good race. I caused a pretty big wreck early on. I think it was like around lap 13. I couldn't see and I got the apron, but it still kind of seemed to work out into my favor. Even though I got second, I was just hoping that I'd finish the race.
Yeah, we saw a lot of drivers, including yourself, liking to work that apron through the front stretch and back into turn number 1 and then sliding back up onto the banking. I feel like that gave you a lot more momentum coming into turn number 1, maybe to get a run on your fellow competitors.
Yeah, I feel like it made it a lot more easier for me to get under them. Um, you get under them and they'll more than likely scoot up, and you'll be able to pass them. So yeah, I'd say it'd give it a little bit momentum, but if you didn't do it right and they didn't let you up, it was not going to work.
We saw you mostly as a staple on the inside line, but you were working multiple lines trying to work your way back up to the front. Was there a line that you had preferred tonight's race, or were you really just looking for whoever was going to give you enough momentum to carry you back to the front?
Yeah, really the inside was my preferred line tonight. I tried the high side and I got loose a few times on the outside, so I didn't feel comfortable with it. So I just kind of stuck to the bottom and hoped that the momentum was there. And if it wasn't, I tried to help make that momentum on the inside lane.
Well, certainly, congratulations on a great run, great recovery. Anybody you want to send a shout out to or a thank you to before we let you go celebrate that victory tonight?
Oh yeah, everybody in the league that let me join tonight. Y'all for broadcasting, Sickler and Hilbert Construction for sponsoring the car, Moneyline for sponsoring the car, and that's about it that I could think of.
Well, congratulations on a well-deserved second place finish, and hoping to see you in future races coming up.
Yep, thank you.
Was your second place finisher driver of the number 31 Chevy Camaro, Brock Whitehead. We are going to grab the man of the hour, our race winner driver, number 55, James Harris. I've got with me our race winner driver, number 55, James Harris. James, kind of seems like a fitting way to close out this first season speaking with you as the all-star race winner. We saw you get involved in a wreck, kind of go to the back, and then work your way back up to the front. What was the key as you were able to make that 55 Subbies Deli and Grill machine work through the field seamlessly tonight?
Well, I don't know. To be honest with you, it was all kind of a blur. I was just like in a dead focus. I was like, I'm just gonna take no prisoners tonight and race as hard as I can and see where it gets me. And it turned out pretty good, I guess. We were pretty aggressive tonight.
Absolutely. I was telling the viewers that I wasn't sure if I'd want to be in your position there on that green white checker. We know from past races at Daytona and Talladega, sometimes the race winner when you restart doesn't always finish the race winner at the checkered flag. Did you feel like there was a point there on those last two laps when you had that race win locked up, or were you sweating that all the way to crossing the start finish line, getting the checkers?
Well, during the first lap, I was a little anxious about it because I saw Craig coming on the high side. Russ made a move there. I think they kind of got together and caused. I don't know if there was a wreck back there. I was focused ahead of me, but I know they got together, which kind of let me and Brock get a little bit of gap on them. And he was in my ear saying, "I got you, I got you. I'm not going to pass you." So he pushed us in. So I owe Brock a big thanks for that.
Certainly. It seemed like almost every single driver was involved in some sort of wreck at some point in time tonight, relegated everybody to the back. What was the key for you trying to work your way back up to the front once you got caught up in the wreck and sorted out in the back?
Man, we had two fast repairs tonight, and I think I had both of mine gone with like 15 to go. So at that point, I had to make a decision: am I going to play it safe, or am I just going to go for it? And it being an all-star race, I just went forward, and we had several close calls coming up through the pack. Had a lot of luck. Some of it was good reaction too, but like I said, if I saw a hole, I was going to go for it, regardless of what the outcome was going to be.
Well, certainly made it stick, and a great job by you. Anybody you want to send a shout out to or thank you to, or let you go celebrate the victory to close out tonight's season?
Yeah, I'd like to give a big shout out to Subbies for sponsoring the All Star race and also been an associate sponsor with our league this season. Been fantastic. Uh, Also want to thank Crazy Dog T-shirts for sponsoring the entire league this season. They were fantastic as well, and Team Good did a really good job with the broadcast this season.
Glad to have you guys on board. Looking forward to close of a spectacular season. Hope to see you guys back in future events as well. Congratulations on the race win tonight.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
That was your race winner driver, the number 55 Subbies Deli and Grill Toyota Supra. So that's going to close it out for us tonight. Puts a bow and a wrap on the season. Crazy Dog T-shirts, Xfinity Series presented by Crazy Dog T-shirts and Subbies Deli and Grill. And of course, the Subbies Deli and Grill All-Star Race tonight here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Take a look at your results tonight before we sign off. James Harris again bringing it home as the race winner there in that exciting green and white checker. Brock Whitehead, first time this season, but puts it P2. Robert Wynn sorts himself up for his first podium of the season, finishing 16th, or finished car number 16 and third. William Mann Jr. just finishing, or William Mann Sr. able to bring it home fourth. William Mann Jr. brings it home in fifth. Harley Berletta 6th, Chris Sawyer 7th, Joe Gregory 8th, Tyler Meeks 9th, and Derek Hilker rounds out your top 10. See your other drivers there listed. Final finishing spots, couple casualties, but overall we had a really great competitive race. Drivers were pushing their hardest, doing all they could, and we saw 3, almost 4 wide at times. Atlanta Motor Speedway did not disappoint, just like this entire season. Great racing every Sunday night, great group of drivers, everybody respectful, had a great time through some competitive racing. So want to congratulate again Greg Janzik for winning the regular season championship, James Harris winning tonight's All-Star event. Big thank you to Crazy Dog T-shirts for coming on as the title sponsor for the season, as well as Subbies for jumping on as the associate sponsor, as well as the title sponsor for tonight's event. I want to thank all the league admins for putting this on, all the drivers for coming out, and especially all you fans for tuning in. Without you guys coming in every week, we could not do this. Big thank you to all of you. And on behalf of Team Good Squad, for this final time this season, my name is Jacob Fescannon, signing off, wishing you all a great week, and we'll see you back at the next race. Have a good night, everybody.